I fucked up. I fucked up bad. Just do it this way. That one. And bam. Oh.
That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
I've forgotten how the machine works. I forgot how the machine works. Okay. I think I'm good. And now I'm going to get a bunch of notifications on Twitter. Anyway, sorry about being a little late tonight. And for those that hadn't noticed, I am back on my bullshit with YouTube. So should be getting regular content for me. Regular schedule should be back to normal next week. I don't have a ton of books to talk about tonight. I thought about maybe going over my books from March, but that'd be just way too much. So if you're wondering how I felt about some of the stuff that came out in March, please go check out the monthly comic roundup I did with Vac. Talk about my favorite book from each week. So that should be, a fair amount of stuff for anyone that's really, really dying to know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. Tonight we'll be talking about The Green Lantern, number 6, Female Furies, number 3, Black Hammer 45, number 2, Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History, number 2, Adventures of the Super Sons, number 9, and for Trade Talk we'll be talking about Miss Marvel, Volume 1, No Normal. So, plenty of books to cover tonight. Oh, I'm seeing a thing popping up here. It says I got one message, or one watcher. I don't know. Okay, anyway. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started with The Green Lantern, number 6, written by Grant Morrison with art by Liam Sharp. Liam Sharp's just absolutely killing it on the art in this book. Every page is just a masterpiece, it feels like. So much insane detail. I have no idea where this dude was my whole life. Like, you just flip through it and just get some truly gorgeous imagery that's so trippy and weird. I really, really like the just strangeness and the intense level of detail that Sharp brings to his art. And some really good intense paneling. There's this duel with Adam Strange, and it looks really, really solid. I'm really happy with this one. Hal Jordan in this book feels more like Captain Kirk than he ever has before, which is saying something, because I feel like that's a thing writers have tried to do with Hal Jordan for a long time, but this really, really does feel like it. There's this whole duel with Adam Strange. So Hal Jordan has infiltrated an evil space crime organization cult thing, and as an undercover operative for the Guardians, and because this cult doesn't quite believe that he's turned, they want him to kill Adam Strange, kill one of his allies, kind of thing. So Hal and Adam have this duel, and it's really, really cool, because Hal just shoots him. It seems like it's over, and Adam's wife is freaking out and everything. And then you just get this moment where Hal walks away and he winks, and that's just such a Kirk moment to me. Very Star Trek at the very least. Just felt really good. I really like that one. Then some crazy events happen, and the bad guys reveal that they know Hal Jordan's sent there to spy on him, and that they have, in fact, a doomsday weapon that could destroy the entire universe. And they activate it because Adam Strange kills the leader of the bad guys. They activate it, and Hal is given emergency powers to his ring by the Guardians. We're diverting all the power you need from central battery reserves. I think that's a really cool idea, that they could do that. They could divert all the power of the entire central battery to one Green Lantern ring to stop this, universe-ending doomsday threat. And I love how it's just a couple panels. Other books, this would be the whole book is just trying to stop this machine. The thing is introduced a page or two earlier, and it's taken care of within 4 pages. But it looks like Hal Jordan died in the effort. They have a memorial for him on Planet Ran. You flip the page, and Hal Jordan's in some weird backwaters of space location talking to Merwedin. So it looks like we're going to be bringing in the fifth dimension, which is really cool. I love what Grant Morrison did with Mxyzptlk in his Action Comics run. So if we're bringing in more fifth-dimensional creatures, I'm here for it. And again, just, God, Liam Sharp in the art. I love the look of that. It's so cool. It's just the intense level of detail. It doesn't even feel like I'm reading like a monthly comic. It feels like these are just really intense illustrations that are meant to stand completely on their own, but because there's a story to them, it just works so well. Really, really impressed with this series so far. This is the mid-series finale, so I might have to go back maybe this weekend and read through all 6 issues again, because like the way Morrison described it is he wanted to plot out the book in 12-issue seasons, and so we're at issue 6, so that's the mid-season finale kind of thing. I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty happy with it. All right, let's go ahead and move along and talk about Female Furies number 3. So Ariel has been the character that I'm pretty sure is invented for the series. I've just never taken the time to look it up. And we kind of get the send-off for her. And this is, I was just talking about Grant Morrison's Green Lantern having the issue 6 of the first 12 issues be like the mid-season finale. Well, Female Furies is a 6-issue series, and this is issue 3, so this is like the middle point of the series, and things, all the setup is done by now. Now we're starting to get into the payoff. So Ariel tries to escape. That's basically what it comes down to. Granny tries kidnapping one of the Forever people that can like weave dreams, and trying to get her Furies back on track. And there's like some really weird shit that these girls are dreaming. Like there's Smiling Darkseid. Take that image for your phone. So all these women are like dreaming these like kind of their ultimate fantasy. I really love Barda's is having a family and a home and a child with Scott. I think that's great. And she doesn't even really realize that's what she wants yet. It's like that perfect dream. Granny apparently really loved a dog. Her dog Titus. So you got that. But while the Dreamweaver is interacting with all of these female Furies, she recruits Ariel to help her escape and says, I can get you a life away from here if you help me. And so Ariel betrays the Furies because, of course, they were subjecting her to abuse and they weren't listening to her, yada, yada, yada. And you get the sense of how awful Apocalypse is for everyone. Because Dreamweaver taps into one of Granny's happy memories, is the dog. And then when she needs to escape her, she taps into where that memory went. No, Mercy, my only... Oh, Mercy, not Titus. I don't know where I got Titus from. Mercy, my only true friend. I did it for Darkseid. I had to show loyalty to him. Oh, that is just twisted, man. I don't even know where you go with something like that, It's just so... that one really shocked the hell out of me. I will say I was a little disappointed that we only get like one flashback, but I was hoping that the flashback we got of Granny would stick with more of the Kirby-esque style that we had in issue 1 with flashbacks. It's got a little bit of it, but it's clearly more in line with just the other stuff we're reading, or we're seeing artistically. Anyway, so Ariel helps Dreamweaver escape, but before Dreamweaver can live up to her side of the bargain, the Furies are released, and they go and find Ariel. It's pretty tragic because as she's being taken away, she's literally begging. There's another life for us, a life off of Apocalypse. Hyman and Beautiful Dreamer have shown me... Oh, Beautiful Dreamer. Dreamweaver. I'm sorry. Hyman and Beautiful Dreamer have shown me we could go to Earth. Quiet, you little idiot. What do I have to do to save your pretty neck? So, like, Ariel's trying to get out, and her friends, Barda included, are roping her back in. And she says, I told you what Willick does to me. Please let me go or kill me. Don't make me go back. And Barda says, enough. Stop lying. You can have your life back as it was. She's like, I'm not lying. Take her home and beat some sense into her. A good training session will help straighten her out. I'll handle these traitorous men Darkseid uses. And like as she's being carried away by the Furies, she says, no, please. Just like you feel so bad for this poor girl. And Barda kind of gets pissed off at Scott Free, who's hanging out with Hyman. So I really like that they kept that origin piece set up by Kirby in the original run. The way Granny talks to Ariel once she has her back is just infinitely sad. Please, Granny, I beg you, let me go. Let me leave this planet, and I will no longer shame you. And Granny says, in my day, you behaved like one of the boys to be accepted. You think I haven't been touched? His advances are too much for me. In my day, if someone got fresh with you, you'd slap them or throw a drink in their face. Or you endure it and stay quiet and keep your power, like I did. But now, even I can't protect you. And so she's given to Willick, her abuser. The fate that Ariel suffers is... It's that certain level of fucked up that you can only really get in a comic. It's that certain level of just, God damn. But it's so emotionally fitting for the pain she's enduring. So Willick forged some metal boots and heated them over a fire. Because he heard Ariel likes to dance. And so he gave her some boots to dance in. Boots that are red hot. So they melted off her legs. And it's when Barda comes in to check on Ariel, see how her reconditioning is going, that she witnesses what was done to her friend. And suddenly, in a moment of just absolute shock and realization, she realizes that Ariel wasn't lying. So we set Scott up earlier in the series, and we see that he's gone off on his mission, or whatever you'll call it, with Hyman, and he's planning to escape Apocalypse. And I think this is the moment where Barda wants to join him. It was an incredibly dark issue. Yeah, that's all I got. It's just a very, very dark issue. Everything I've said about the last two issues is still present here, so I don't really feel the need to go into it all over again, but yeah, that one was pretty fucking intense. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Talk about something a little less intense, World War II. Black Hammer 45, number 2. This is a spin-off book for the Black Hammer universe where we're following the Black Hammer Squadron or something or the Hammer Squadron or something like that. Or a bunch of black pilots in World War II that went on like super missions and stuff. So that's just that. I mean, that's pretty much it. You just see some of their adventure going on as they as the war closes in on Berlin, and there's all kinds of stuff that happens in the issue that I don't really feel like talking about. This just feels like something that's just rounding out the universe, and this kind of thing I actually really like. I read a lot of Batman. I read a lot of stuff in mainline comics, and every so often you get that period piece, like what was it like in the past in this comic, and I really enjoy stuff like that. Like Black Panther, for example. Hudlin did a mini series. I think it was just a 4-issue series called Black Panther, Captain America, Flags of Our Fathers, and it was about Cap in World War II going on a mission and meeting the King of Wakanda, who was T'Chaka at that point. It was just little cool stuff like that, little world building things. It's like there's this Nazi, kind of superhuman thing. Like he's got wings that let him fly and just bashes shit with a mace. So it's a bit of a take on Hawkman, I guess. So it's just taking down pilots with a mace, which, I don't know, it's kind of a cool, fun, crazy World War II comic book idea. I can see it. It feels cool. It's a cool way to round things off. They all lose their planes at one point in this issue, and so two of the guys have to end up walking to the nearest American base, or base of operations rather, and when they do, they're introduced to Abraham Slam, who's the best, craziest, fastest driver they've got. And so Abraham Slam, of course, being for the main Black Hammer universe, or the main Black Hammer book rather. So this is like his time in the war kind of flashback thing. I do really like stuff like this. I will say I still really, really do not like the art. It just feels below a certain level of quality to me. I've just not cared much for the art in the 2 issues we've had here. I don't know how long this series is going to run, this mini is going to run. But like some of the art's okay. Like I think this God from the Clouds thing is really cool. But I don't know, it's the normal everyday human facial expressions. I'm just like, there's something wrong here. I don't know exactly what, but something's not working right. Alrighty. Gonna go ahead and move on and talk about Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History number 2. I loved the first issue of this series. I was literally busting a gut laughing when I was reading it. This issue, not as much. Like, it still had a lot of things I liked in it, but it did seem to get maybe a little too caught up on the through line plot of Frank Castle talking to his wife the day before she's supposed to die, blah blah blah. That felt a little off, but at the same time, just the stupid mockery of some of the stuff in the Marvel Universe is just super fun for me. So, like, if you ever read the original Venom storyline, there's that moment where Peter tricks the symbiote into coming back to him. And so we open with that fight of Venom and Spider-Man, and so Spider-Man takes off his costume and says, "You want me? Then take me. I'm yours." And then the fucking the symbiote crawls off of Eddie and goes onto Peter. And meanwhile, Frank's just back there fishing. He's like, "Are you really? Are you hearing yourselves?" Just funny shit like that really got me. The other joke that just cracked me the hell up was about there was a couple. One of them was a pretty good artsy joke where they talk about like a wave of crime hitting New York after Spider-Man quit being Spider-Man, and they show like Kingpin and the gun smugglers and everything. And then there's this guy cutting the tag off a mattress. I really appreciated that. I have a feeling that was not in the script. That was just too good. And also, Cosmic Ghost Rider retcons the Clone Saga by killing the fake Aunt May, and yeah, that's the thing. He says he starts calling Ben Reilly Hockey Hair Spider-Man because he's going to be Canadian Spider-Man. Oh, come on, Uatu. I remember how this whole thing played out. I did everyone a favor. Plus, a Canadian Spider-Man? Pretty great. He'll have a funny accent and apologize after he punches people in the face. It'll be a riot. Oh, God, that was funny. That was very funny. So, just a lot of that going on. The book's attempting to be maybe a little more emotional. Sorry. The book's attempting to be a little more emotional than, and I think it really needs to be, I guess. It's trying to like, oh, well, Frank's just in a really dark place right now because he came back from a war, and no one comes back from a war okay. Even Spider-Man had problems, yada yada. I'm like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. There's plenty of interesting character study pieces out there for the Punisher. I don't really need that here. But at the same time, you don't need just because the character's a jokey, kind of over-the-top, crazy character, doesn't mean that you don't ever do anything dramatic or don't try to humanize him at all, because then you end up with, like, the early 2010s Deadpool books that it's just a clown in a red suit. And that can get overwhelming. And just, it kind of stops working for you. But, the Cosmic Ghost Rider flashback stuff here, I do really like all of it. It's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Not a lot to say about it, really. It's a fun issue. The art's pretty good. I was pretty happy with all the art here. It's got a bit of a timeless feel to it. It doesn't really look like it's, your modern everyday comic art. I think that might have something to do with the coloring, because I don't know if this will pick it up, but you can kind of see that little bit of that, what do they call it? The dotted shading style in comics. Screen tone? Yeah, I think it's called screen tone. And that's maybe a little more prevalent at the beginning of the issue. Like if you look at Venom there, I think you can see it really well. So it's got like this, the flashback scenes feel like that maybe actually could be from the era of this book or that book or whatever. So I appreciated that. It was a fun issue though. I'm still definitely gonna be reading the series, but it wasn't as like jaw-droppingly hilarious as the first issue was. Tired tonight, apparently. And there's Cosmic Ghost Rider with the Phoenix Force. There we go. That'll do it. Nice stuff. Alrighty. Go ahead and move on. And, wow, I really flew through these tonight. I don't know what happened. Final single issue of the night is Adventures of the Super Sons, number 9, Showdown on Hex World. As things just keep getting crazier in this book, and I'm kind of in love with it. So Jonah Hex is in the wilderness, and they've got bounty hunters have guns pointed at him, and they've shot off his hand because this isn't Jonah Hex. This is Robot Jonah Hex on an alien planet. So you can get like a little look at him there. You can see kind of like some of the metal parts, like around the wrists. So yeah, Robot Jonah Hex teams up with the Super Sons. I really like that we get 2 pages of them just talking about adventures that we didn't get to see. That makes me happy because it means Tomasi's leaving the door open to do more of these, and I hope to God he does. There's no explanation truly for why this robot looks like Jonah Hex. Damien says, this planet is modeled after Earth. And that was it. It's pretty much just a blatant excuse, and I'm okay with that. Anyway, the boys hatch a plan with Jonah Hex to steal a space train to get off the planet. And yeah, that's pretty much what happens. They all go off together. They fight some robots along the way. Get some fun action there. I love the boys bickering and just constantly bugging and trying to one up one another. Damien has this fantastic line. I gotta find it real quick. One thing I hate about fighting robots is they hurt my knuckles more. That's a solid point. This is our problem. We should handle it. Exactly. I don't ask my dog to drive, and I don't ask the Justice League to solve my problems. Point taken. Here comes the next goon squad. Your soft baby knuckles ready for more punching? Stuff is cowpoke. Or stuff it cowpoke. I like that. It's just the little like, hey bud, hey bud, hey bud. Like, just shit like that is really, really boyish. Like, just that is very much the attitude of a boy, and it just makes it really enjoyable to read. It's a really fun kind of a throwback experience in a way. Like, I remember when I was fairly young, around Damien and Damien's age in the comic at least, like, just randomly like hanging out with my friends and then just randomly like tackle each other or some shit and just turn it into stupid horseplay kind of shit. It's just too much fun. The constant belittling of each other is absolutely hilarious. Just maybe it's toxic masculinity. I don't know. It's fun. It's just fun. So yeah, they've stolen a space train, and that's leading us into issue 10. Meanwhile, Rex Luthor, the alien kid who's making everyone look like supervillains from Earth, but children, has gotten his army, and they're about to go to Earth. So yeah, it's a race against the clock. My hope is that Damien and John get to Earth after he's already won, and they have to find a way to save the day. So I'm cool. Akuma Ranger says, who knows, Jonah has always found himself getting into a weird situation. Hell, he's been in the future multiple times, so having a robot double wouldn't be out there. I mean, certainly, Jonah Hex is one of the most versatile Western characters ever. One of my favorite Jonah Hex lines is from Justice League Unlimited. I think it's Unlimited. It's either Unlimited or just Justice League, but they go back to the past and they're dealing with all the bullshit there, and they team up with all the Western heroes. Jonah Hex is there, and then when they leave, they're taking all the future technology with them. And old dude says, man, I really want to meet one of those laser guns. Jonah Hex is just like, they jam. Was that from this experience? Do you have prior experience with laser guns, Jonah Hex? And the answer could be yes to both of those questions. So it's just shit like that I find amusing. So you're right. I just am saying the world they were on, why Jonah Hex is the only Earth-looking cowboy. I don't know. But hey, I like it. It's fun. I get Damien, who's one of my favorite characters, and Jonah Hex, who's on my top list of characters, in a book together with young John Kent. What more can a man ask for? Except for more young John Kent. Alrighty. Well, that took care of all the single issues. I think that's the fastest I've ever gone through these. Maybe I am more on my game, or maybe you guys want me to talk about them more. I don't know. I really don't know. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go on to Trade Talk. Yeah, there we go. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Trade Talk. I'm Sid Part 2, and today I'll be talking about Miss Marvel Volume 1, No Normal. This is the beginning of the character of Kamala Khan, created by G. Willow Wilson. So, funny story about this, back at Christmas of 2018, so it's been a couple months, sorry about that folks, I received some gifts from the Real Manos and from the Vacuuminator, some trades, and they both gave me this one, I know Vac sent me a couple. I can't remember if Manos sent me more than one trade, but they both gave me Miss Marvel Volume 1. But luckily, I knew of a place in town that had Volume 2. They'd had like at least 1 billion copies of it, so I went and got Volume 2 and sold one of the copies of Volume 1 I had. So I'll be doing the first 2 volumes of Miss Marvel on Trade Talk here. So yes, Miss Marvel, or Kamala Khan, is a young Muslim girl living in New York and dealing with, the societal pressures of both being a teenager and also being a Muslim in America. And that's immediately right up my ballpark. That's stuff I knew about Kamala Khan before I went into this, and I found inherently interesting. Delicious infidel meat. As she looks at a BLT. Anyway, so I was interested in reading this, but it's just like, if you look behind me here, that stack right there, yeah, that's all trades I need to get through on this show. So it's taken me a while to get to it, and I'm not necessarily interested in going out and buying more stuff just to try it out on Trade Talk. I'm trying to get through the stuff I already know I want to read. But, this came free, so it was a really cool opportunity. Kamala sneaks out of her house to go to a party, and that's a big deal because she's not supposed to be out of her house because she's a teenager and all this stuff, and also she's Muslim, and so her parents are a bit more conservative about those kind of things. Like, she asks at dinner, it's a great conversation with her father, "Can I go to a party tonight?" "Where?" "On the waterfront." "With boys?" "Yeah." Very funny. I like that. That's just that kind of line of, like, more like a conservative religious background, but also, it's a dad who doesn't want his teenage girl going to parties with boys. That's so on point that it plays on both of those things. While she's at the party, she's kind of treated like shit by the people she wanted approval from. So she storms off, and a mysterious cloud of smoke rolls in over the city, and Kamala passes out in the middle of it, and wakes up and sees her heroes, Captain Marvel, Captain America, and Iron Man, speaking to her. But they are not actually those characters. They are instead the "We are faith, we speak all languages of beauty and hardship." So these are like guides of fate and yada yada, and they talk to Kamala about how she's feeling and what she wants, and she says what she wants is to be like Miss Marvel before like Captain Marvel before the costume change. She wants to be like Miss Marvel, and careful what you wish for, because she actually becomes Miss Marvel as Carol Danvers used to be. So there's like a bunch of freaking out and her trying to get used to it, and she ends up inadvertently saving a bully, a girl bully that she was dealing with, using her newfound superpowers, which include like stretchy hands and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, it's just it's a neat little setup. She goes home, gets in trouble, is grounded, and begins to have just problems with her family because she doesn't know if she's ready to tell them about this stuff yet. And it's also the classic story of like the classic comic book story of the teenager dealing with the new superpowers and stuff. So there's just a lot of interconnected things going on, and it's got this fresh feel for a number of reasons. One, because she's a girl, and I cannot readily think of teenage girl superhero that does the whole Peter Parker thing, sneaking in and out of the room, all that stuff. I'm sure there's another that exists, it's just not coming to mind for me. But we've also got stuff like, she has to go to mosque. Or to the mosque? Yeah, it's the mosque. I think. God, forgive me if I'm an idiot. But like they have a partition up between men and women for prayer and all this stuff. So it's just, I don't know, it's got a cool feel to it as all these crazy things are happening and she's trying to get a handle on her powers, so she goes into the locker room and realizes she can grow to like 3 times her size and yada yada yada. But she's just getting in trouble. She's having a harder and harder time dealing with stuff until she stumbles upon a hold-up and turns herself into Captain Marvel to try to save the day. But that gets her shot. End of the series. But no, she ends up being okay because of a factor of her powers, which is kind of neat. And her friend, who was the teller of this convenience store robbery, has to kind of cover for her and make her feel safe as a superhero and yada 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 yada. I don't know, just it's cool. It's fun. It's just it's a pretty typical thing, but it's fun in its own way too. She's got costume that she makes, pretty, typical superhero teenager stuff, but in a really good, nice, fun way. It's nice, it's simple. It's just, I'm a fan of soapboxing. I really like when a writer has a character make a statement, a political, moral, ethical statement. I'm a fan of that. But it's also important to know you don't always need that. You can do a character that has a political purpose, but not make that political purpose explicit to the characters themselves or to the characters in the world. Sometimes the best way to handle diversity is to just show diversity. And so, yeah, like there's nothing super special or incredibly profound about anything in this first volume. This is just well-written, fun, cool teenage superhero stuff. But that teenage superhero happens to be a Muslim girl. And I really, really like that. I just think it works really, really well. There was one pretty emotional moment that I quite liked. And it's when her father sits down and talks to her, and he tells her a story. He says, "Do you know why we named you Kamala?" "No, it's a weird name. Everybody else gets to be Yasmin and Lila and stuff." "It's a special name. Kamala means perfection in Arabic. Your mother had a very difficult time when she was pregnant with Amir. After he was... Amir. After he was born, the doctors told us we couldn't have any more children. We were devastated. Then, 5 years later, you came along. Our little miracle. I held you in my hands at the hospital, a tiny, screaming, pinkish-brown baby, and thought you were the most perfect thing I'd ever seen. That's why we gave you your name. You don't have to be someone else to impress anybody. You are perfect just the way you are. We're not trying to make your life miserable, Kamala. We just want you to be safe." I really, really like that scene. That was a very, very good scene, very touching. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it besides I just thought it worked really, really well. And it comes at a very good time in it. Honestly, it ends on a bit of a cliffhanger to go into the next volume, set up the villain for that. I really feel like this could just be a movie. If not in the MCU, like you could do this just as an animated flick and have it be pretty cool. I don't know how you'd incorporate Miss Marvel in the MCU. Given the way Brie Larson's Captain Marvel's origin is changed and streamlined for the movie. But I'm sure you could do something and have it be really interesting. because I really, really enjoyed this. This was a really fun read, and it's just such a basic brass tacks, no nonsense kind of book. It's straightforward. I thought it read incredibly well. Left a really good impression. I'm excited to check out Volume 2. No promises on future volumes unless people want to send me more. But like I said, I got a stack of stuff that I gotta get through. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for Trade Talk tonight. So thanks everyone for watching. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher. Bye. And everyone, thanks very much for watching Comic Reviews. Sorry this one was a bit later in the evening and it's a bit shorter, but hey, we're back. We're doing our things. See you next time, folks. Bye.